Welcome to Aspect Slant of a Changing Man. My name is Gold, and I'm coming to you, bringing you a show that's about change, also about self-confidence and ways that we can actually change ourselves to become better. I've been in situations that I've seen myself be unhappy in and wanting to change those situations. After I did see them and they came to light, I also seen people also going through the same type of problems. And what I wanted to do is expose those problems so that we're able to see what we actually go through and things that we can actually do to change those type of situations. Today, I wanted to talk about self control. In another word, pressure bust pipes. When you don't know yourself, it's easy to not only be unaware of your limits before being like triggered, being mad, or breaking down to the point where you don't want to go on. It's easy to put yourself in those situations also when you don't understand why you're triggered or why you're breaking down or why you don't feel like going on or why you want to move around from the situations that you're in because you feel drained from the problems that are occurring. You don't understand the area of familiarity. So you end up doing what you want to do instead of what you are familiar with. What I mean by that is a lot of us go into fields that we don't feel comfortable going into. And when we do that, we get emotional upon the results of the situation that we put ourselves in. And that becomes a problem because if you don't know yourself or what you're good at or what you're familiar with, you won't be able to say, I'm not going into this field. That field seems exciting and it seems like one you want to master, but at the same time, it's not one that you actually can say, I am comfortable going into, knowing that I might be able to lose in this situation and feel good about it. When it isn't going in your favor, that's the easiest way to get mad. For me, the definition of anger is the emotion that comes when you're in fear of losing control. So when you're never mad when you're in control of a situation. You're never mad when things are going your way. You get mad when things aren't going your way um, or you're not familiar with the situation and things are getting out of the type of results that you were expecting to get from it. I learned that just because it looks good and exciting, it doesn't mean that it's a field for me. And if I do lose, I have to be okay with it. When I play chess, if I go into I'm kind of mediocre when it comes to chess, but when I go into the game, if I lose, especially when I'm going against someone that is very good, I feel good if I'm able to give them a challenge or make them think about the moves or make them, stop and see what type of move they have to make first. If you're very familiar with the game and you can move, very quickly to the point where you understand what I'm doing before I do it, I feel uncomfortable and it doesn't make me mad about the situation, but it makes me want to get better and I start to see where I made my mistakes. Um, one other sport that I felt like I was good at and basketball. And I come up from the days of when Michael Jordan was the man, Kobe Bryant was the man. Usually, we was smack talking and in competition. When it comes to me, I love competition. It makes me want to play better. It makes me want to try harder. It gives me the especially when I'm doing good in those games. It makes even if I lose, I feel like I made an impression on somebody. When I don't, I have to understand, hey, I probably didn't. What I should have did was I should have took more shots. I should have been more aggressive. I should have passed the ball at a certain time, or anything else. But especially when when the smack talk is happening, because that's what excites me. It excites me to have someone come against me and tell me, you can't do this, or I got you on lock, or in any type of situation, make me feel like, oh, I'm going to prove you wrong for what you think of me before you get on the court. And I've played against D1 college players. I haven't played against an NBA player, but I played against D1 college players, like very good players, and I've been able to do my thing on against those people and feel good about it. And that's just me. I feel like there's a lot of people that go into that field of smack talking and competition, and they can't handle the pressure. I remember one time there was a guy that I played basketball with all the time, and we went to the Purdue campus, and there was the actual basketball players there. Now, me, I got excited because it's me being able to prove myself. I've always wanted to prove myself in basketball because I felt like people were always downgrading me, or they didn't understand how good I actually could be if taking the time to actually see how good I am and what I can actually do. But when we got there, the friend that I was with, he decided that he didn't want to play. He was just going to watch the guys play. And this was a guy that I felt like skill-wise, he was better than me. All around with hard skill and determination and just straight up, a mind for passing and making players around me better. I felt like I had an advantage, but I thought that he would be the first one that would want to get on a court, being how good of a person that he was. But it seemed like that pressure was holding him back. The fear was holding him back from proving himself. And that's something that it kind of disappointed me because of what I thought of him as a person and how good of a person that I thought he thought that he was. Because, playing against us amateurs, he was like all excited. He was, ready to score, ready to get, ready to go at our heads. But then when he came to those guys that were like up there top tier, he backed off and watched them play instead of actually playing against them. One thing that I feel like we don't get to do because of the things that we have going on in life or our expectations is self-discovery. And usually, when I've heard of people going on like self-discovery trips, it was ones where they would just disappear off the face of the earth, and they would go into like a place where money didn't matter. Like all your accomplishments and things that self-validations, like not self-validations, but validations from other people didn't matter in the place that you were. You were somewhere where you had to survive on your own, and every accomplishment that you got, there was nobody to clap for you or make you feel good about it. And every decision that you had to make had to be one that was assured. You had to be assured of the decisions that you were going to make. So when you came back into the world, it seemed like you were more into yourself and your decisions and bringing success around you because you don't care about what other people think about what you do. So you were more in. It wasn't a fear of if everybody thinks that it's okay for you to do things. And it's for me. I went through a journey of that. I still find myself, wanting to have that type of validation from people like, hey, am I saying the right things or am I doing the right things? Because early in my life, I didn't have that. But the more and more I practice on not needing it, that's what makes it so that I'm able to make decisions. I mean, it's not ones that are like, I can't think of the word right now, but just like on the spot, no thought about decisions. It's one where you actually think about it and you say, I'm going to make this decision. And if I lose or win, if I'm successful or if I fail, it's still a decision I'm going to go with. A lot of people that I talk to that would talk about success would say it's not about you actually succeeding that makes you the person that you are. It's you actually fixing the failure that you made before. And I see that with a lot of people that I not idolize, but I look up to as far as being successful, that they may have failed before, but they didn't give up and they came back better. They came back with a better determination. They came back a better leader. They came back more into being that type of person in the field they feel more comfortable in succeeding in. I listened to Chris Carter, and he said that he played basketball. Basketball is his number one sport, but he knew that it was easier for him to do football. And Chris Carter for the Minnesota Vikings was an amazing wide receiver. And of course, he had a Hall of Fame career, and he knew that he would have a Hall of Fame career, but he was really good at basketball. So sometimes your love won't be what you want to go into, but it'll be what you're actually good at and able to succeed in easier that you should jump into, and then expand upon that, or challenge yourself to become better in those fields. When you watch people in sports, they usually are good at one thing, and that's all they're good at. And a lot of people like that, but at the same time, like, who likes a shooter that can only shoot but can't dribble? Who likes somebody that, can, make shots go into the lane but can't rebound and can't pass? It excites us today to see those guys hit those big shots, but the best player in the world is able to do everything. He's able to make everybody around him better. And yes, people will see when they're making those exciting plays or they're able to do something so amazing, it would look like they can challenge that person until you start to see the holes in their game. And then you start to see this guy doesn't have any holes and he makes people around him better. For me, I feel like that's a great example, but it's all in how you feel about yourself. It's all in learning what your limits are, how much you can lift, how fast you are, what you can actually handle, especially when it comes to like relationships. We all can handle, somebody not being in control of themselves if we're able to stay in control. Being grounded is when you're able to be balanced and you're able to see that somebody is in a situation where they can't control themselves, but you can actually control yourself to protect everybody in the situation, even yourself. Because you being emotional can get you hurt or get somebody else hurt by the things that are said or the things that are happening. If you're in control of your actions, then you won't be, like a domestic violence case. When I was into my relationships, most of the time I would lose control of myself because I didn't know my limits. I didn't know that I can actually press my limits past what I thought they could be. And I'm learning that as I go along. It's what my limits are and how to expand them so that I'm able to handle situations that other people usually wouldn't be able to handle. I said that about Michael Jordan. A lot of people couldn't go through smack talking, and stay in control and use that energy to make themselves better. But Michael Jordan was able to, and he was able to do it so good that some people wouldn't smack talk him. Some people would try to keep him calm and compliment him because they know that 30 points can turn into 65 real quick if you excite him that much. Like if you talk stuff to him, Kobe Bryant was the same type of way. Like 35 can turn into 80 if you say the wrong things. But we have to be able to know those things and be able to press those limits and get to know ourselves. Because if we don't, we're going to be stuck in this mode where we do things and the results that we get are going to make us look insane because we keep failing and expecting something different to happen. or we keep trying to get control of the situation in ways where it's going to hurt the other person or put us in a situation where we're not comfortable in anymore. Well, thank you guys for coming to the show. Hope that you enjoyed it. Hope that it was good information for you, and I'll see you next time.